Hi everyone, I'm Stephanie Tsai in the Toyota Solutions studio at Women in the World 2018 here in New York City. And it's always a pleasure to have a mother of invention with us. Kavita Shukla was recognized with the award in 2013, which is great because we can, you can talk about the evolution of your business. She invented something called fresh paper and is now the CEO and founder of Fenugreen. Kavita, it's great to see you again.
Thank you. It's such a thrill to be back.
Let's start by just reminding people what fresh paper is, the entire concept.
Yeah, so fresh paper is a really simple innovation that keeps food fresh for longer. So it's a tiny little sheet that's actually infused with active botanicals that are completely natural and organic. And it keeps food fresh in a variety of environments. So it was something that actually started as my middle school science project. And it was inspired by a home remedy that my grandmother in India once gave me to drink. So it's a technology that I designed for use in environments like in the developing world as well as in food banks where you don't have anything else. But what happened after Women in the World was that it ended up turning into a national consumer product. And so it's something that we now sell in grocery stores and retailers across the country. And that actually helps us get it to those in need all over the globe.
That's really exciting. Yeah. Take us back to where you were in 2013 as an entrepreneur and what it meant for you to receive the Mother of Invention recognition.
Yeah, it was so significant. I mean, when I first came to Women in the World, I had just been at a farmer's market. So fresh paper, started as my middle school science project. I had this idea. I worked on it throughout high school. I got the patent when I was 18 years old.
Wow.
So I found out when I was 17 that I'd be getting it, and I was going to college, and I thought, gosh, I really want to make sure I do something with my idea, because even at that age, I was really aware that my grandmother, even with all of her brilliance, she never had the opportunity to pursue her ideas. And here I was, I had a patent. I felt like going to college, I would certainly be able to build a nonprofit and do something to bring my idea to scale. But what most people don't know is that for the next several years, I really wasn't able to get it off the ground. I kept hitting obstacles at every step. A lot of it was that I kept hearing from experts that I would need to raise a lot of money, that I would need a lot of experience, that I would need to bring on more experienced people. And I really started to lose faith. I think that excitement and that inspiration that I had as a little girl kind of faded as I grew up. And that was really challenging. So it actually took me almost 10 years from that point to when I came to the farmer's market and thought, okay, let me just try to do something with this idea, however small it may be. So I was thinking very small. I was at the market. I was trying to get local farmers to use the product. And it was only a couple of months after that that I heard from Women in the World. And I think about a year later, I was on stage. And I knew in the moments after I walked off that everything had changed. I mean, that community literally took this little idea from a farmer's market to becoming a global phenomenon. And it was something that, I could have never imagined, but it was, even the community helped us kind of rise to that occasion and scale up and be able to fulfill that.
So where is the company today?
Yeah.
It sounds like fresh paper is everywhere.
Yeah, it's very exciting. So we now are in most national grocery retailers, from Whole Foods to Walmart. We also work with a lot of housewares retailers like Bed Bath & Beyond, and we're serving over 180 countries through an incredible partnership with Amazon.
How did you scale? Yeah. So, I mean, when was this sort of momentum built? I mean, what were the technical challenges to reaching that level?
There were so many challenges. I started out making fresh paper in my kitchen, which was literally like a tiny studio apartment, so it was the size of a table. And I was making hundreds of sheets, and I found it so challenging. And almost right after Women in the World, I realized that I had to think about thousands and hundreds of thousands. And so I quickly just started to think about ways to use knowledge and equipment that was in the United States. I really wanted to keep all of the manufacturing in the US because we're also a social enterprise. And so we really took it step by step. I think in many ways, the fact that I didn't know what I was getting into really helped because it was very overwhelming and it was very intimidating, but we just took it one step at a time. We didn't have the ability to raise money because it was very challenging for me as a female founder to get out there and raise the money, so we kept investing.
Why did you feel specifically being a female founder that was a challenge?
Well, I think in this community, it's been really empowering for me to hear the stories of many other women who kind of had similar experiences. But I think what I faced a lot is that I was very young and I had this idea that I felt like could be really transformative. But what held me back was not having a lot of the experience, and I think a lot of the credentials perhaps that people felt like somebody like me should have to build a business like this. And I think I hear that from women more often than not, that, you know, they face tremendous skepticism, and that often turns into doubt.
Well, I think this, I don't know that it's that women have actually less credentials. I think it's that women feel like before they can do certain things, they have to have certain credentials, whereas a lot of men just do it, whether or not they have the legitimate credentials or not.
Exactly, and that's what happened to me. You know, I had so much doubt. Going to that farmer's market, it seems like a small step, but for me, it was like the scariest moment of my entire life to step out there and share my idea, because I was struggling with that doubt. And I think what you said is absolutely right, and that's what this community has shown me, is that it's just about believing in your idea and going out there and having the courage. So I think courage is really the way to overcome all of that. And I had to go back and find that courage, but certainly having all of the support from this community, having those people at the farmer's market come with us at every step of the way, it made all the difference. So.
You know, you talked about the social enterprise part of it. Get into that a little bit more and how you balance those interests with the business interests that you have.
Yeah, so when I started, my dream was to get fresh paper to people like my grandmother. You know, she was one of the over 1 billion people that grew up without refrigeration. And we know that today the world's farmers are actually growing enough food to feed the planet, but over 800 million people still go hungry every single night. And so for me, that had always been something that was driving my intention and my desire to make fresh paper something that could scale. And so I think I could never have imagined how rapidly we were able to scale to making millions of sheets and to start to bring the cost of that innovation down so that we actually could think about donating it, getting it to people in parts of the world that I never imagined we could reach. So just a couple of months ago, we did an incredible partnership with Vital Voices and Women in the World, where we've recently started to go on HSN, which is a live cable network that
reaches a lot of people.
It reaches over 96 million households. And we had an incredible launch there, and so I had this opportunity to do a 24-hour live marathon. And we actually sold over 1 million sheets in 24 hours. And as part of that, we did a donation of fresh paper to women in the Vital Voices Network who are working in their communities all over the globe to actually empower those communities to have more fresh, healthy food. So that was an incredible full circle moment. The fact that we did that with Women in the World support was unimaginable, but it just has inspired me so much to see what women are doing all over the globe. And I really hope that just by unleashing this technology, now that we have the scale, we can enable them to have a lot more impact.
It's extraordinary to see all that you've accomplished with your company. Thank you so much for spending some time with us.
Thank you for all your support.
We wish you all the best in the future.
Thank you.
Kavita Shukla, the CEO and founder of Fresh Paper. Thanks.
Thank you.